It sounds like a wild scenario, but what if, somehow, the United States attacked Canada? Two of the most peaceful, cooperative nations on Earth, suddenly at war. It's unthinkable. But let's imagine it for a moment. What would actually happen? First, the political shock would be global. Canada and the US share the longest undefended border in the world. They're economic partners, military allies through NATO, and deeply connected culturally and diplomatically. A US attack on Canada would be seen not just as an act of war, but as a betrayal of international order. The global reaction? Immediate outrage. NATO allies would be forced to respond, not against an external threat, but against one of their most powerful members. It would fracture decades of cooperation and send shockwaves through global diplomacy, testing alliances like never before. Militarily, the US has the largest defense budget in the world, with advanced weaponry, satellite systems, and unmatched global reach. But Canada is no pushover. It has a professional, well-trained military and access to critical intelligence networks and strategic allies. An attack wouldn't just trigger resistance from Canada, it would ignite a chain reaction of global involvement. Allies like the UK, Germany, France, and others would be forced to choose a side. And while few could match US power, the political cost of going rogue would be enormous. It wouldn't be a short or clean conflict. Cyber attacks, trade blockades, and proxy fights could emerge quickly. The skies over North America could become contested. Cities could face blackouts. And civilians would bear the weight. And then there's the human cost. Millions of lives are intertwined across the border, families, friends, businesses, entire communities that span both nations. Cities like Vancouver, Montreal, Seattle, and Detroit could face not just military threats, but civil unrest, panic, and mass displacement. Airports would shut down. Borders would close. People would flee, not just from violence, but from a complete breakdown of the life they once knew. The emotional trauma would be deep and long-lasting, particularly for generations raised to believe this border was a symbol of peace. Culturally, the damage would be just as severe. The shared values, media, entertainment, and language that connected these two nations would unravel. Trust would vanish. Artists, scientists, and innovators who once collaborated would be forced apart. The internet would become a battlefield of propaganda and disinformation, further dividing the people and fueling a narrative of fear and hatred. So, could the US attack Canada? Technically, yes. Would it win militarily? Possibly. But in a conflict like this, no one truly wins. Not the governments. Not the soldiers. Not the citizens. Because a war between two of the most peaceful nations on Earth would be more than a geopolitical disaster, it would be a global tragedy. Thanks for watching.